Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Super Sports Central. Today, we're going over my 2023 MLB predictions. So, there is some rule changes for the MLB season, which starts tomorrow, or at the time of recording this tomorrow, March 30th. So, those rule changes, there's three major ones, but the bases have expanded from 15 square inches to 18 square inches, meaning we'll likely see a lot more stolen bases. The shift is also banned, and also there is a pitch clock, so the games should move along quicker. Getting into my predictions, starting off in the AL East. So this is probably one of the best divisions in baseball, and it was very, very difficult to predict this one. But in fifth, I've got the Boston Red Sox. So they're a solid team. They finished in the bottom of the division last year, and I think that'll be the same. They had a decent offseason, but they didn't really do a ton to really improve themselves a whole lot. They extended Rafael Devers. That's great. They signed Masataka Yoshida. Hopefully I said his name correctly. But they lost Xander Bogaerts, JD Martinez, Nathan Eovaldi, and others. I think the Red Sox are decent, and they'll definitely be one of the bottom two teams in the AL East. I have them fifth. Fourth in the East, I've got the Orioles. So they're a team loaded with potential. They've got a ton of young players, such as Adley Rutschman, top prospect Gunnar Henderson, who's the favorite to win AL Rookie of the Year, and also Cedric Mullins, who's a bit older but still on the younger side. And those are just to name a few. The Orioles still have several other very good young players as well. Now, the Orioles, they're not quite a playoff team yet, but in the next few years, they will be. They have a very bright future, and I have them fourth in the AL East, but as I said, very, very bright future for the Orioles. Just not ready to compete quite yet. Third in the AL East, I've got the Rays. So they're such a weird team. They didn't have a great offseason, and they don't have a ton of great players, but they've just got some really good players, and a team of really good players. They don't really have these true superstars. Players like Wander Franco could be a superstar player, but they don't have a team of, where they've got superstars. So they're such a weird team, such a hard team to project. I've got them third in the East. Second in the AL East, I've got the Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays, they've got one of the best and deepest rosters in baseball. They've got several great players, such as Vladimir Guerrero Jr., George Springer, Matt Chapman, and several others as well. Plus a great pitching staff. And they should be pretty good. They could definitely challenge the Yankees for the American League East, but I have them finishing just behind, but I do think they will get a wild card spot, finishing second in the AL East. And winning the AL East, I just said it's the Yankees. They're going to finish first in the AL East. They won the division last year. They were one of the best teams in baseball last year. They bring back AL MVP Aaron Judge. They added Carlos Rodon to an already good rotation. Now, the Yankees do have quite a few injuries to start the season, but the injured players will not miss the entirety of 2023. And once again, there's very high expectations, and I have them winning the American League East. Moving to the AL Central, the fifth spot there, we've got the Royals. So they've got some exciting young pieces like Bobby Witt Jr., but overall, their team is one of the worst in baseball, especially their starting pitching overall. Starting pitching and bullpen is both really bad, and the Royals are worst team in the AL Central. Above them, fourth in the Central, we've got the Tigers. So they're like the Royals, a team that's really not that great. They've got some young pieces, but overall, they had a bad season last year. I think that'll continue. They didn't really have a great offseason and didn't change the team a whole lot. I've got them fourth in the AL Central. Third is where it starts to get interesting. We've got the White Sox. So they're a team that could realistically win the division if they play up to their potential and stay healthy. Now, they did lose Jose Abreu in free agency, but they still have lots of good players. Now, the thing is, with their good players, such as Tim Anderson, Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, several others as well, but they struggle to stay healthy. So if the White Sox can stay healthy and play up to their full potential, as I said a second ago, they have the potential to win this division, but I just don't see it happening. I've got them third and also missing out in the playoffs. Second in the AL Central, we've got the Twins. So the Twins are a team a lot like the White Sox, although a bit better. But if they stay healthy, they have the players like Byron Buxton. They brought back Carlos Correa, added Gold Glove outfielder Michael Taylor, also good starter Pablo Lopez, and a good catcher Christian Vasquez. But they've got the players, as I just mentioned, where they could definitely win the division, but I think they're just going to fall short. But I do think they will make the playoffs. But if the Twins stay healthy, they can definitely win the division. But I've got them finishing second in the AL Central, but getting a wild card spot, so still making the playoffs. And winning the American League Central, we've got the Guardians. So their team, a lot like the Rays, a lot of good players, and of course their superstar Jose Ramirez. So the Guardians, they won the division last season, and they should be in line for another great season. I've got them winning the AL Central. Moving to the final division in the American League, we've got the AL West. Fifth there, no surprise, we've got the A's. They're definitely the worst team in the division and one of the worst in baseball. They should easily lose 100 plus games. A's in fifth. Fourth, we've got the Rangers. So it starts to get interesting. 2 and 3, and then 3 and 4, and then 1 and 2 are kind of obvious. But 4, I've got the Rangers. So they're trying to go all in. They added Corey Seager to Marcus Semien last offseason. They brought in Jacob deGrom this offseason, as well as a few other starting pitchers. But I still don't think they're an amazing team. They should be solid. They're a solid team. But they've got some superstar players, but I don't think they've got great players around them. Some of their players they're good, but I think they're just relying too much on some specific players like Semien, Seager, and deGrom. But the Rangers, they should still be a decent team. They'll be in the wild card race, but I don't think they'll make the playoffs. Third in the AL West is the Angels. They could be argued for fourth, but they've got 2 top 5 players in baseball, Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani. Now, the thing is with the Angels, they don't have a great team outside of Ohtani and Trout, because who's their best player? Anthony Rendon has struggled to stay healthy. I don't know. I just don't really think the Angels are a great team outside of Ohtani and Trout. That they have great players, but I think they're going to fall short of the playoffs yet again. Despite 2 tremendous players, Angels finished 3rd in the AL West. Second is the Mariners, so they should be good once again. They broke their playoff drought last season, and they should be a playoff team once again. They added Colton Wong and Teoscar Hernandez this offseason. Plus, they've got a young superstar Julio Rodriguez and a good starting rotation as well. Mariners, second, get a wildcard spot and find themselves back in the postseason for the 2nd straight season. And winning the AL West, probably not a surprise here, is the Astros. The reigning World Series champions once again are one of the favorites in the American League and also the entire league. So the Astros, they do lose Justin Verlander in free agency, and they also have some injuries to begin the season. But the Astros should still be one of the best teams in baseball, and I'd be pretty shocked if they don't win the AL West, although the Mariners should give them a close race, but I think the Astros are the better team and will win the division. Moving on to the National League. In the East, at the bottom of the division, we've got the Nationals. They should be one of the worst teams in the league, and like the A's, they don't really have many good players. They've got some good young players, but no one who's really going to contribute right now and really make them a truly good team. And as I said, like the A's, I'd expect 100-plus losses from them. Fourth in the NL East, we've got the Marlins. So they're a decent team playing in a really tough division. They've got a solid rotation led by Sandy Alcantara, who won the NL Cy Young Award last season. The Marlins lineup's okay. They should definitely be an okay team. They're miles better than the Nationals, but yet miles worse than the top 3 teams in the division. Marlins finished in 4th. Getting to the top 3, it's extremely tough. Any of these teams have an argument to win the division. They've also got an argument to come in 3rd. So 3rd, I've got the Phillies. They made the World Series. They added Trey Turner. This is a really, really good Phillies team. And finishing in 3rd does seem surprising for a team that's coming off a World Series appearance and also got better in the offseason. But they will be without Bryce Harper for a good chunk of the season. And their rotation has really good pitchers at the top with Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler. But as you get to the bottom, it's a bit shakier. But still a solid rotation for the Phillies. They're definitely a great team. I could see them winning the World Series again. Or going to the World Series and potentially even winning it. That's how good the Phillies are. But that's how good this division is. Where they could be a team to maybe make or win the World Series. Yet they can come in 3rd in their own division. Phillies, a very dangerous team. They'll be without one of their best players for about half the season, Bryce Harper. I've got them in 3rd. But the argument can definitely be made to have them higher. Second in the NL East, we've got the Mets. So they did lose Jacob deGrom, but they've replaced him with Justin Verlander. They've got a great lineup. And now they will be without White Sox closer Edwin Diaz for the entire season because of a knee injury he suffered in the World Baseball Classic. But the Mets, they should still be a very good team. They've got the highest payroll in the MLB for a reason. And I think that's going to translate to good performance on the field. And I've got the Mets 2nd. And by the way, I've also got the Phillies and Mets also making the playoffs as wildcard teams. And winning the NL East, I've got the Braves. So they might have the best team in baseball. They're the best team in a loaded division. They've got a loaded lineup with Ronald Acuna Jr., Austin Riley, Matt Olson, several others as well, plus a good rotation and bullpen. The Braves should be among the best teams in baseball, and I've got them winning a very tough NL East division. Moving to the NL Central, this one's definitely a lot easier than East. 5th, we've got the Reds. They're in another rebuild. Seems like the Reds are just in a never-ending rebuild. But this should be another tough season for the Reds. They've got some promising prospects, but no one that's really going to help them compete right now. They'll finish at the bottom of the NL Central. 4th is the Pirates, so they could be last in this division, but I think they're slightly better than the Reds just because they've got a bit more players who can contribute now. They brought back Andrew McCutchen, they've got Ke'Bryan Hayes, and Brian Reynolds, players who can contribute now, whereas the Reds don't really have many of those players. But I've got them just above the Reds, but not much better than that. 4th in the Central. Third, we've got the Cubs. They made some nice offseason additions, signing Dansby Swanson, Jameson Taillon, and Cody Bellinger. They should be solid. I have them finishing third in the Central because I definitely think they're behind the Brewers and Cardinals, but above the Reds and Pirates. Second, in the NL Central, we've got the Brewers. They're a good team, but a weird team. They've got some players that are really good, but they seem to be headed in the wrong direction. Corbin Burns is unhappy with the team. And the Brewers, they should be solid, but I don't really think they're all that great. I have them just missing out on a playoff spot. And number one, in the NL Central, I've got the Cardinals. So they're a team with two NL MVP contenders, including the NL MVP from last season, Paul Goldschmidt. They've also got their other corner infielder, Nolan Arenado. Their rotation is a question mark, but it should be good enough for the Cardinals. And I've got them winning the NL Central and making the playoffs for the 5th consecutive season. In the final division, we've got the NL West. 5th in the division, we've got the Rockies. They're a rebuilding team. Really no reason to believe they're going to finish any higher than 5th in the West. It should be a long season for the Rockies. 4th, we've got the Giants. Now, the Giants, they could be argued for higher, but I don't know. The Giants are another weird team, like the Brewers. They're solid, nothing amazing. The Giants, they're just an incredibly boring team. They lost I should say they missed out on Aaron Judge and Carlos Correa in the offseason. They added Mitch Haniger and Michael Conforto, but I don't know. The Giants are just a really boring team. I don't really think they're all that great. I've got them 4th in the West, but they could be better. 3rd in the West, we've got the Diamondbacks. They're a team on the rise. They've got some good young players. They aren't a team that can compete for the division, especially a good division, quite yet, but they've got some potential for a playoff spot, but I think they're going to miss out. But they should definitely be a solid team. 2nd in the division is where it gets tough, but I've got the Dodgers. So it was a weird offseason for the Dodgers. They lost some key players such as Trey Turner and Justin Turner. Now, I still think the Dodgers should be a really, really good team. And they could even win the division, but I have them behind the Padres, but the Dodgers will certainly make the playoffs. And the Padres, I have winning the division, as I said a second ago. They've got one of the best overall teams in baseball. If not, they wind up with the most star power in the league. They've got Manny Machado, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis Jr. They added Xander Bogaerts. They've also got a good rotation led by Blake Snell and Yu Darvish. So the Padres, they might have the most loaded roster in all of baseball, and are definitely results in the NL West crown. So getting to the playoff seeding-wise, in the AL, the seeds, we've got 1 Astros, 2 Yankees, 3 Guardians, the 3 division winners. Then 4 Mariners, 5 Blue Jays, 6 Twins. In the National League, we've got 1 Braves, 2 Padres, 3 Cardinals, 4 Dodgers, 5 Mets, 6 Phillies. But the wildcard teams could all go in any order. So now in the wildcard round, my predictions. In the American League, I've got the Guardians over their division rival Twins, and the Mariners over the Blue Jays for the 2nd straight season. In the National League for the wild card, I've got the Phillies over the Cardinals in another rematch from last season, and I've got the Dodgers over the Mets. Moving on to the divisional series in the American League, we've got actually both rematches from last season. We've got the Astros and the Mariners and the Yankees against the Guardians. I've got the Astros and Yankees advancing to set up another rematch of last season in the ALCS. But moving to the NLDS, we've got the Braves against the Dodgers and the Padres against the Phillies. I've got the Braves and the Padres moving on. And in the LCS series in the AL, we've got the Yankees and Astros yet again. Can the Yankees finally beat the Astros in the playoffs? As a Yankee fan, obviously, I really want to pick the Yankees, but I'm going to go with the Astros advancing. And in the National League, the Braves against the Padres, 2 fantastic teams. Both teams could easily be argued for the best team in baseball. I've got the Braves advancing in what should be a thrilling series. And the World Series, Braves-Astros, another rematch. This one from 2 years ago. The Braves won in 6 games. Same result, Braves over Astros to win the 2023 World Series. And last but not least, my award predictions. Just AL and NL MVP and Cy Young. Not going to go Manager of the Year, Rookie of the Year. But MVP in the American League, I thought Shohei Ohtani can do it all. Definitely the best player in baseball. And I think the Angels would be decent, so that'll result in an AL MVP award for Ohtani. And in the National League, I've got Trey Turner. I think he's going to have a great season for the Phillies, and he's definitely going to be one of their best players. And in the AL for Cy Young, I've got Garrett Cole, and in the National League, I've got Spencer Strider of the Braves as the NL Cy Young Award winner. But those are my 2023 MLB predictions. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn the notifications to know about any other upcoming videos. I do my best to post as often as possible. Let me know in the comments who you have winning the World Series. I've got the Braves over the Astros. But obviously, as a Yankee fan, I think the Yankees have a great team, and I'd really like to see them win a World Series. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn notifications. I do my best to post as often as possible, and I will see you in the next video.